What's up, fight fans? Your boy Nick Portella, MMA.com. Back here, Cutman Q's Corner, second installment, Paul Querido. Wanted to bring him back in because he's got the big Bellator card coming up. He's literally going to be landing in LA in 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours. But he donated some time to us. So the big question is, I see this guy at tons of events. I'm an early bird. I show up early to everything. He beats me to everything. I even try to beat him on some days. It doesn't work. So, actually, Paul, could you go through your ritual per se? Because I know you land early. I would have no doubt if you weren't in the arena the day before the event. But just kind of walk us through what you do. I mean, I know you got to land. You got to get to your hotel. What happens leading you up to event time?
Well, I don't like sitting still. I don't like sitting still. I like being active. I like moving, and I want to help as much as I can. I don't want to just show up, grab a few hands, stop a few cuts. I actually enjoy being around the fighters and the organizations and the people that make everything actually happen.
Because they've had issues where they were short, and you're like, I'll wrap everybody. Like I've seen you wrap people in the tunnel. Like, hold on, we got to get it done.
In some of the local shows, I have a game plan coming in. I have 4 or 5 different requests, and all of a sudden, a coach can't make it, or somebody doesn't have the right gear, or, all of a sudden they watch me rap a certain way, and they're like, wow, he actually does know what he's doing. Can you wrap my hand?
Imagine that.
Yeah. There have been a few of the local shows where I've actually wrapped people backstage. I've had a coach actually hold the camera with the flashlight on, so I actually have wraps. And believe it or not, I actually wrapped Zoo at the CFFC early. It was in the 2300 arena.
Yep, in Philly.
And backstage in complete darkness. I did it by complete feel. Just
shout out to Zoo, by the way, my boy.
I've wrapped his hand several times before, so I knew what he was comfortable with, the type of pressure, the type of wrap, the thickness, and just the comfortability. So I was actually able to wrap his hands.
Blind.
Yeah, basically blind.
I can't do anything blind. I have a hard time getting out of bed when I'm tired.
Whether it's a local show, whether I'm traveling for Bellator, again, I like getting there early. I want to get a lay of the feel of the land. I want to be comfortable. I want to, get a chance to talk to the fighters. And if I can help out any way I can, like I mentioned, I absolutely want to.
This is the guy who will go to wrap hands, and then if the cage needs some work, he'll be like, let me help. He's in.
Show me one time and I'll actually do it.
Absolutely.
Most of the time when I land, we have a shuttle company that will pick us up from the airport and bring us right to the hotel.
Right.
Most of the time, Nick, I don't even check into my room. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually find the operations office, go right in there, just make sure that everybody, is, that they don't need help.
They probably love having you there. You're keeping it. I mean, they know you'll do your job, no question. Yeah. But you have a general concern for. I mean, you're just the cog in the wheel, and everything has to work or nothing works.
Right.
So it's all or nothing.
Right. And if I can make their job a little easier, if I can help, make somebody feel more comfortable, whether they're waiting online to register, whether it's helping people check in, whether it's helping bring people over to the video shoots or the photo shoots or camera roll big. If I can just be a small part of that and take some of the pressure off and make the coaches and the fighters feel more comfortable, and that truly makes me feel better.
Right, because they have enough pressure anyway. They're worried about getting in there, getting the job done. Did I coach it right? Am I going to call it right?
Exactly.
All that stuff.
Exactly. With some of the states now doing early weigh-ins, if I can get there early enough, again, I'll be backstage helping the fighters just get organized, just trying to keep a smile, just keep them talking, or, anything. Just to pass the time, so when they step on that scale, it's one less thing they have to be focused on.
Right. So now, Mr. Early Bird, obviously, I have no doubt that your stuff, you already know, like almost like a surgeon with tools. Like, I have this, I have that, I have that. When does the actual preparation start? How many hours, let's say the card starts at 6 p.m. What time are you there? All the gear's ready, tape's ready.
Well, keep in mind that, the day before the show, we actually have our early morning weigh-ins. And if I'm able to get there early enough, I'll assist. We also have the mock, or the ceremonial weigh-ins later on at night.
Right.
So I'll go and help out behind the stage. I'll actually get a lay of the land of the arena, where are the locker rooms, where's the main entrance, where are the fighters walking in, where's triage, just so I can have a mental note of where everything is. So again, it's just one less thing that I have to think about. Usually after the weigh-ins, we'll receive our assignments, exactly which fights we're working, and exactly who we're wrapping. So I actually have all that information about 24 hours ahead of time. And this way I get a chance to make sure that in my head I know exactly how I'm going to wrap this person. Or if it's somebody that I've never really wrapped before, make sure I take the time to really sit down and find out what type of wrap do they like. Do they have any injuries? How was their training camp? Really get a chance to know the fighter, or know the fighter and the coach. This way they get the best hand wrap possible.
And it builds that rapport, like you said. You wrapped Zoo blind, but you've wrapped him how many times?
A bunch of times.
Yeah, you know what it is. So
exactly.
There's always a possibility you're coming, you'll be assigned a guy that, again, you could just turn all the lights off in here, wrap this guy a million times, I know exactly what he likes.
If I needed to, yeah.
Yeah. Is the questioning process, not the questioning process, but is the, I guess it reduces the stress for you and them, like, hey, I'm wrapping you today, let's sit, let's talk about it, how everything went.
Exactly, I introduce myself, hi, I'm Paul, I'm going to be wrapping your hands today. What type of fighter are you? Are you more of a striker? Are you more of a grappler? Are you more of a wrestler? Just so I get a broad sense of where to go, how thick, how, comfortable and how tight they want the wrap. Because you'll have some people that are just heavy-handed, and they want the extra sauce. They want the thicker padding.
Because they're going to throw bombs.
Because they're going to throw bombs. But then you have wrestlers who are so used to training with very minimal on their hands, they want the most minimal. And then you have other people that really kind of don't know what they want. So we'll give them some sort of middle. We'll give them enough protection, and support where they can throw the bombs, yet also have the maneuverability where they can be able to grapple, hold on to wrestle.
Now, have you ever come across a case where you wrapped a guy for the first time, and I mean, I know even without asking, you could tell if, all right, they're happy with it, they're not. Mm-hmm. If you find that it doesn't work out best for them,
I'll cut it right off,
and you'll go again,
and I'll do it again.
No problem.
No problem. It's not an insult. It's not anything. I don't take it personally. I can't, because I'm not the one stepping into a cage where 30 feet away another human being is trying to rip my head off.
Right.
I can't. So I want to make sure that when they go in there, they have the most confidence in their hand. It's just one last thing that they have to be worried about. If it means we take that pressure off and they can listen to their coach,
not worrying about how their hands are wrapped, is it going to protect me? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so we veered off the path. So back to your ritual.
Back to Bellator. So when we fly in, it's usually put my bags down, go right to the operations office, and help out any way I can.
Right.
We have a few hours. We'll get the fighters ready for the mock or the ceremonial weigh-ins, and I'll go and I like being behind the stage. I like interacting with the fighters and the coaches. It's just, to me, it's working, but it's not working.
It's just fun.
It's just fun.
It's fun,
right? After the weigh-ins, we'll maybe grab a quick bite to eat, and then the assignments will start coming in. And then I'll start making sure that everything is here. Okay, at 4:15 I'm going to start him, and then I have 30 minutes I'm going to wrap him. Okay, I know what this type of person was, and I'll start making notes. Remember here. And if I wrap somebody and I'm not sure, I'll go back and I'll kind of research that person. I'll take a few minutes and I'll go back and do a little history check. Right, this person won because they're a striker. This person here. Again, going into...
And you manage your time appropriately.
I need to.
You leave enough gap. I mean, even if you had to wrap everybody twice, I guarantee your time is set that it would be done.
Exactly.
Now, when you add 8 people, because you had one show where you were supposed to wrap 4, ended up wrapping 11, or something, some crazy amount.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good thing for you, though. That means people want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is a gold star on your work.
It is.
Because there's other people that could rap, and you know they look for you.
It is. It really is the ultimate compliment. It really is the ultimate compliment, whether it's someone on the local show, whether it's somebody on more of the regional Northeast circuit, and it really is a true testament and a compliment when you have, you know, the main stars or the up-and-coming stars of a Bellator organization saying, hey, you know what?
I need you.
I need you. That really is the ultimate compliment. That really is, like you said, the gold star.
Right, because you rap alongside who else is Stitch Duran's there.
Stitch.
And I've seen you in a bazillion pictures with him. So, all right, so you get your assignments, you do your research if needed, unless you know the guy.
Exactly. And then from here, again, I'll just start making sure that my goals, my tape are all in order. Lee.
War tape.
War tape, absolutely. You know, my sidekick Lee is always, you know, breaking my horns because I have this thing where I pack and I repack and then I do it all over again. It's just, call it OCD, call it ADD, call it ADD, OCD, HD.
I think it's if you over prepare, you won't fail. Because by the third time you pack it, you know absolutely, you know, everything's in order.
And I know
to touch on Lee, she keeps every boat floating. No question in my mind.
Absolutely. So once we get that done, you know, then we get a few hours of downtime.
You don't take downtime.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but you need to. You know, there are always fighters down in the lobby, or there are always fighters getting that one last little training session in. So if I do get a little restless, I'll go down to the workout room and, just kind of see, or just sometimes don't even say a word. I don't think shit.
Because at this point they know you. Yeah. Even if you've never rapped them, they know you. You know them.
I don't just watch them train. Fight day, when we travel for the Bellator, it starts real early. We get up in the morning. And what people don't realize is that when a show starts at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., what they don't realize is that people have been moving since 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I like being part of that team. I like being part of that infrastructure because, again, it keeps me moving. It keeps me busy. I don't want to stay in my hotel room and just watch TV. I don't want to.
And you'll help with any aspect. It doesn't have to be cut guy stuff. It could be
moving mats,
whatever it is.
Setting up the lockers, setting up the chairs, making sure that each locker room has enough cases of water.
Right, for the fighters.
For the fighters. Putting up signs saying, hey, red corner over here, blue corner over here. Whatever I can do to make, myself useful.
Well, because every one thing you do probably takes the stress off of 10 other people who have a million other things to do.
Yeah, I like to think so, because I also know that when I have people, who are working with me and assisting me, and if they can do some of the things that I don't have to ask them to do, then again, it takes
off the plate.
Exactly.
All right, so you're there, everything's set up, you're starting, like you said, operations will start way, way early in the morning. When does the actual rapping for the fighter start? Let's say it's a 6 p.m. card and this guy's fighting first. When do you start your interaction with that fighter?
A minimum of 2.5 hours prior.
You're already talking to him, figuring out.
Exactly.
And then I guess that time, well, the way they schedule you, you probably have that time.
Exactly. Right. There's enough time where if a fighter needs an extra few minutes in the bathroom, if something happens, if there's a problem with the coaching and the licensing, if there's a little bit of time built in there. So if something does go a little wrong, I'm not backtracking or backlogging my entire rest night.
Right, because it messes you up now.
Right, and I'll go ahead and I'll sit there and before I rap my first fighter, I'll walk up to the other person and say, hey, 4:30, I'm going to start rapping your hand. This way I'm not chasing them at 4:30. 4:30, they're not getting dressed or prepared. And I'll go to my other few fighters, hey, Nick, 6 o'clock, I'm rapping.
Right.
And we go.
And I would assume that in this kind of business, there has to be 1,000,005 things that can go wrong behind the scenes that just gets worked out.
Yeah.
Like you'll never see it. Everything goes according to plan.
And again, even at the highest level, even at the professional shows, there are people that will sit there during the check-ins and the weigh-ins, sit there and say, no, my coach will rap me or my buddy's gonna rap me, and then something happens, and then we're scheduled. We have this, that, and we'll have 2 or 3 people come up and say, "Hey,
I need you.
We need somebody," you know, and we just learn to adapt and just roll with it. So
Because they have to get wrapped.
they have to be prepared.
So now, do you have like, I don't want to say, I get for lack of better words, like a checklist? Now, I know you show up and you have everything, but do you have a minimum like, hey, I want to bring 10 rolls of war tape, 15 rolls of ball? Like, do you have a, not that it's a standard general, but do you have a certain criteria when you're packing, double packing, triple packing, to know that you have all these things?
For the local shows, when I pack my own supplies, I always multiply it by 3.
So what you would need, times it by 3.
Exactly.
So you know you'll have enough.
Exactly. So if I know that I'm wrapping 5 or 6 fighters, then I will make sure that I have enough war tape. I have enough
18.
gauze. Exactly. 16 to 18 rolls of gauze and tape, you know, to be able to accommodate. Now, there have been times where, you know, I've
Blow through it all?
blown through it all. You know? And there have been other times where, you know, I only do, you know, the 5 or 6 that are here. So, and again, that doesn't upset me. I don't get upset if nobody wants their hands wrapped by me. Again, it's not about me, it's about the fighter. And if they feel more comfortable, hey, you know, if the coach wants to wrap their hands to get some experience, hey, go for it.
Now, I know for the local shows, I've seen you, I know you've been in the back wrapping. I know you've done the corner work while the fight's going on, but then I also see you greasing them to enter the fight. I've seen you do all 3 in one night. Now, the way it happens with Bellator, does the rotation work that way, or you just assign fights and one person or 2 guys get on the way in? You know, grease the face, check the cuff, check the mouth guard, check the gloves.
Well, in Bellator, because we're running a team of 5, there are always 2 people cage side. Right? Always.
Right.
Now, whoever's cage side, they've either wrapped the fighters earlier, or we'll wrap the secondary set of fighters, either the main card or the fighters on the dark side.
Right.
So that leaves 2 other cut men wrapping hands, one in the blue, one in the red locker room. And that leaves the 5th cut man to grease the fighters prior to them going in.
So they're dedicated to that position for the evening, or
No.
you guys rotate?
It is a rotation, right? Because this way, no one, you know, cut man gets to just wrap hands. No one cut man is not just working the cage all night.
Right.
There is a rotation where we do get a chance to do everything. Everyone wraps hands. Everyone will work the cage. Everyone will assist, you know, in greasing down the fight.
Right.
So now the coaches don't have to worry about it. But more importantly, the commission and the inspectors know without question that it's going to be done the right way the very first time. They still overwatch us, you know, they're still making sure that, you know, we follow the rules.
But they could trust you doing it over, let's say, I've never done it.
Exactly.
They would look and be like, okay, Paul's been doing this. How many hands has he wrapped? So we're going to check, but odds are we're not going to find anything because it's him.
Exactly.
You know, doing it.
And at the local shows and even the higher shows, there's always an inspector or, you know, a referee overwatching. You know? And then what I've done is I've been able to take that kind of system and implement it on the local shows.
Right.
Because there are a lot of coaches that don't understand what the mask and the face is.
Right. Well, I've seen you do every job at the region.
So if I can make everything run just a little bit smoother, then I feel that it was a successful night. Not just wrapping hands, not just have the knockout winning wrap of the night. I feel like the event ran a little bit smoother that I was able to help.
Well, you're just a go-getter. I mean, and not everybody's built like that. Because technically you could show up, go sit in your hotel room, come down just in time to wrap hands, do what you got to do, and walk out the door. But you're just not built that way.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
You know, it's passion for the job. Let's use that word. Like you want to be there. It's not just this is my job. You know, you want to be a part of things. So the Bellator card, we're not going to ask Paul any predictions. Not fair to him, especially because he doesn't know who he's wrapping. But there are a couple interesting fights on the main card that I will do predictions for. Not him. One of them would be Phenom Aaron Pico and Shane Crutchton, who's a veteran. You don't remember, Aaron Pico did come in, lost his first fight to Josh Freeman via submission.
That was at Bellator, New York City.
Yes.
Correct.
Quick turnaround, comes back, scores a huge knockout win.
Devastating knockout early in the first round.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So now he's up there with a MMA veteran. For myself, I think Aaron Pico actually is the greatest prospect to come into MMA. I know the hype train was kind of running. People kind of jumped off it because he lost, but everybody loses. Unfortunately for this fight, I think Crutchton's his time and service is going to outdo for this fight. I have Shane winning via decision. Mike Chandler's also on the card. He recently lost due to a ankle/stool incident.
Stool gate number 2.
Yeah, no question in my mind he wins this fight. I'm thinking third round submission. Now the fights that everybody's talking about. You have Douglas Lima, which I know you're excited about this fight.
I'm very excited.
Douglas Lima facing the returning Rory McDonald. This is a toss-up. Paul can agree. You could literally flip a coin to see who's going to win this fight. I don't think either one of them are so far above the other. It's just going to be. I mean, we've seen them both in wars. They both come out on top in wars.
They're both mentally and physically on top of their game.
Yeah.
And regardless of the outcome, I honestly feel that the winner of tomorrow night's, bout will really be, pound for pound, the best, welterweight.
It's possible.
Out there.
It's likely. But for me, I don't count ring rust. I don't think Rory has ring rust. I think he definitely is trained. It's not like he was off and did nothing. So,
but keep in mind, they're both coming out off, huge wins. What Rory did over, I believe, in London against Paul Daly.
right.
Brutal. Right? And then, I honestly believe Lima's 2 last fights have actually won by knockout also.
These are the kind of guys where you can make the ring the size of this table, seriously, and they'd be happy to exchange. They both like exchanging, but I have Rory via decision, which is an odd prediction because generally to beat the champ, you have to beat the champ. There's no decisions, but I don't know.
I'm excited for that.
I'm excited. I'm also excited for the first round of the heavyweight Grand Prix, where you got Rampage Jackson, former champion, versus Chael Sonnen, in his words, current icon. I don't know what to think. I think the Grand Prix is a great idea. They need a heavyweight champ. What's the best way to drum up a heavyweight champ? You do an old-style tournament to see who wins. Unfortunately, this round, I think Rampage wins via TKO. Third round, that's my opinion.
That really was a brilliant move by Scott Coker.
Absolutely.
Because you have, the acquisition now of Frank Camille. You have, Chael. You have, Big Country. You have Fedor. So,
and then you got light heavyweights moving up. You got King Mo in there, Ryan Bader in there, Matt Mitrione in there.
Yeah. So, and again, what he did was brilliant. He sat there and said, why should I pick, who's going to fight who, for an interim belt or for a vacant belt?
Because then it looks like you pick favorites almost. Because there's a million guys. Well, I'm going to pick these 2. So what he did, I mean, the Rizin tournament has always been popular. UFC started tournament style, but it was all in one night. Combat Americas just had a similar tournament, for the bantamweights. So,
but what he did was brilliant. He took, 7 guys. He had 1 guy jump up. He's got 8 guys. He put their names into a hat, and he said, you know what? We're not just going to do this in one night. We're not just going to say, okay, here, because then you're worried about injuries, and then you're worried about people fighting multiple times,
and alternates, the sea of alternates, because heavyweights, they all hit hard.
Yes.
None of them don't hit hard.
And they all want to make a statement, but he did it brilliantly. it. He said, we're not just going to do it in one night. We're not going to do it over a month. We're going to take this and we're going to do the entire 8-man tournament over a year. And at the end of the year, at 2018, we're going to take the 2 badass heavyweights, we're going to put them in there, and we're going to see who comes out as the champion.
I think it's a great, not only for marketing, but the way it works. It's great, because like you said, you have a guy, essentially to win that tournament, you would have to fight 3 times in one night. And you got Frank Mir, who's going to be cranking you to death for submission. You got big, and the rest of them can, each and every one of them has knockout power. So you're really getting beat up in that one. My overall prediction for the Grand Prix at the end of 18, I will say that Matt Mitrione is crowned the Bellator heavyweight champion. We're done. We're good. You can listen to it after. Also, Paul has a bunch of shows coming up. If you can give people kind of your schedule. I always say when I put articles on you, you're one of the probably most approachable guys in the business. So if you ever see this guy, say hello.
Grab a cup of coffee.
Yeah, coffee's. This is. I was telling him actually. I had somebody message me saying that we should call this segment the Coffee Shop Cutman. I don't know. We might be able to work it into something. But
I just like the MMA bullshit session.
Yeah, that's where we are. We're gonna have to give a kickback to this Starbucks though, because they let us, do what we do here. But your schedule. So you have this Bellator show coming up.
Right. In less than 24 hours, I'll be at Bellator 192 in Los Angeles. I'm home for 3 days, and then I fly back out to Southern California for Bellator 193 in Temecula, which is about an hour outside of LA.
Right.
I believe I have, I want to say Lions kickboxing, right, early February.
Lion Fight is Lion Fight.
Yes.
It's February 3rd.
February 3rd. So
I'll be there.
Right, that to be there. And then the following weekend, I believe I'm in close to home, Mohegan Sun.
Okay.
Right, which is actually going to be the Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione fight, I believe.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
And then
the 17th, you have Maverick MMA 5.
Right. Then
the following weekend is Frankie Perez, Dead Serious MMA
24th.
at the Showboat.
Showboat, correct?
First time the amateur card is at the Showboat.
I'm looking forward to that.
And so am I. Love that show.
And then the first week of March 2nd, we're back in Bellator 195 in Vacaville, Oklahoma.
I got to use some of Paul's flyer miles to go to these shows. I know his frequent flyer miles must be insane. So for me, I'd like to thank, first and foremost, my sponsor, Primal Gym, Jim McCann, 3 Nami Lane, Hamilton, New Jersey. Great gym. Also, shout out to Wayne at Top Team Sports Management for doing what you do, always helping me out when you can. He's got thank yous, way better thank yous than I have.
My biggest thank you is to my one and only sidekick, the one person who's not afraid to give me that PTA.
I thank Lee too because I'm afraid.
Right, Lee, thank you for everything, your undying support, and I know there are times you want to wring my neck like Homer Simpson and Bart Simpson, but I love you because of it. I'd also like to thank Defense Soap. Another year going in strong where no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I'm around, whether there's blood involved, Defense Soap keeps me clean until I'm able to get, to the shower and really take my time. Even then, I'm still using the Defense Soap products. War Tape, of course, is just, unbelievable. So, yeah,
And Defense Soap even has nothing to do with me sponsor-wise. It is an absolute great soap. Yeah, must have it. I use it. I have it at home. I use it at work, which is emergency medicine. So definitely give them a look out. War Tape, I don't know how many rolls of tape they go through. But yep, we're going to be catching up with Paul again at the latest, mid to early February. As his schedule rolls out, we'll have a lot more shows. Check us out. Share it on Facebook. Share it with your friends. Best guy in the business.